Hi everyone, it's rare that I'm impressed with auto selection tools on any program, but for once I've got to say that Photoshop have really impressed me with their new tool, the Sky Replacement tool. I'm going to show you three very different pictures here and how good and how quick it is to replace the sky in all of these. So let's get started. I'm going to pull these out the way for the moment and we'll start with this one, which is a sky replacement I've already done in the past. I've got my layers here which I can show you. There's the colour version. So let's dump these. And all we do is go up to Edit, Sky Replacement, and it opens a new window and automatically a sky goes in there. Now with all skies it's always important to make sure the lighting works, so whatever's going on with the lighting in the picture here, it must really reflect in what sky you're putting in. And sometimes it can get there but maybe just needs a little bit of a tweak. That's not too bad actually, the blues are working quite well with Spitfires here, but let's take a look at some of the others here. So there are some that come already preset. There's 2, 3 or 4 here that you won't see because I've already imported in some of my own skies, as I have a folder of skies. We're going to go down, this is kind of like early morning in the feel I want here, so I'm going to go with a sunset, but nothing too harsh, like, you know, these are just too much. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with this one for this exercise here. So you can see it's already working quite well. It's maybe a little bit warm here with these oranges, but we can do something afterwards with the foreground here. So one thing while we're here, let's just talk about bringing in your own skies. You can do that either here with New Sky, or you can actually come down here to the Add button and do the same here. This little slider here will just make the images zoom larger and smaller so you can see what's there, and you can also make the whole window bigger if you need to. So we go back to the main window. Now there are a couple of adjustments here. I've got to say this is coming so well. There's maybe a little bit of a problem on the canopy there. This original picture I cut out with a pen tool because it makes a good job with these edges here, and Photoshop has done, I think, just a good job here. So shift edge and fade edge here is a little bit like when using the gradient tool, so you have an option to actually fade the edge and pull that back if you need to. And this is useful if you find that this transition here really doesn't look that good. So yeah, I think, you know, even at 100% it looks much better. And shift edge, like with the gradient tool, that'll allow you just to move it up or down. So yeah, I think around about there. You can change the brightness and the colour temperature, so let's have a look at that. So a little bit more moody if you want it. I'm going to get some light coming in here. And don't forget, once we've done all this, you can do some dodging and burning if you need to as well, additionally to this. Colour temperature, we're going to keep that as it is because we've selected that sky accordingly. And we can scale these skies as well, so if you need to, you know, move them around a little bit and just select different parts of the sky. So take that back up to 100%, thereabouts. Also have the option to flip the sky, which is useful depending on where the light's coming from, but we have got an implied light from the top left, so we will keep that as it is. We also have foreground adjustments, and it's worth just swapping multiply and screen as the blending modes around if you're struggling with the transitions. But we'll stay with multiply here. And also we're looking at foreground lighting adjustment and whether that actually just needs any tweaking. And I think actually we will move that slightly to around about there. Now I do want to warm this up just a little bit, so you do have a colour option here for adjusting that. So take a look at those, and for me I've got to say it doesn't really do what I want it to do, so I'm going to tack this in a layer, I think. And output, you've got an option of new layers or duplicate layer. So new layers will actually nest them into their own folder, which is worth doing. So let's click on OK. And here you can see the folder with all of the work that's been going on. Now straight off, that is a pretty impressive sky replacement, but there are just a couple of things I want to work on here. One is that canopy edge is just being lost. There's a little bit of mist here, and also I think we'll just take that back a little bit softer. So we're going to go to the sky itself, and we're going to just apply some blur. There, we've got a tree here. You can see that that's originally blurred, and for a start it's done a great cutout of it. Same with these trees here, and we really want to kind of like get some blur going to match with that. Yeah, I think around about there. So for me, I want to sort this canopy out here. I just want to define a little bit of a reflection. Now I've zoomed into this canopy here just to try and define that a little bit better. So I will go over to the pen tool. And we're just going to mark this out. You can drag these as you go, but something small like this I'm not too worried about. I'll just show you that this last point you can drag as you go, like I mentioned. So let's take a look at this one here. Alt on the keyboard will allow me to pull these arms out and put a curve in on that canopy. And Command or Control on the keyboard, and I can activate these points and just drag that off. I think I'm happy enough with those because we're not going to be going down because of this area here. So up to selection, I'm going to keep a feather radius of 1, and then just bring in the curves adjustment layer. We're looking at mid-tones, so we're going to bring them in on the mid-tones here. We go for around about that sort of level, but we can always dial back the opacity up here. So all I'm going to do is zoom out a bit so I can see what it looks from a bit more of a distance. And then with a black brush, so B on the keyboard, and we're going to swap the palette from black to white with the X. So just in the width of the brush with the bracket keys on the keyboard here. And we're going for about 70% opacity, so 7 on the keyboard. And we're going to tone that down and bring that opacity to 100, so 0 on the keyboard there. And all I want is a bit of a highlight on the top there, like that. I think that's enough. If you turn it off and on, just check it. Yeah, that works really well. So for those of you that are interested in me just sorting out this small piece behind the prop here, I'm over onto the pen tool, and we're going to pop our marks in, and I'm going to go down just to this metal part here of the canopy, and we'll come down to about there. We're going to blend this in. Okay, our points are in there. Zoom in. And see, I do work close to pixel depth at times, and this is a small area. So Command will actually allow you to move these points and edit them, and then the Alt key will allow you to pull out the curves. think I'm happy with that one and that one. We'll just pull a little curve in here. Maybe pull that one a little bit in. Let's reactivate this one and pull that up. I think maybe just pull this one in a touch. Over to selection, feather the radius. Sometimes this is 2 or 3, but when we're in this close, 1 is more than enough. Now the easy way to do this is to go on the top layer and then stamp visible, which is Command or Control Alt Shift and E. And now just using the clone tool, which is S on the keyboard, I'll pick up some of this sky here. And just feed that colour in. Deselect, just check from a distance, and that's certainly much better than what we had before there. Just turning that off and on. Let's also take a look at some age with this and put it into a monochrome. So hue saturation, colorize. Let's get into the realms of sepia, but I like Silver Effects Pro's coffee tone, so the way to do that is bring in a sepia and then just take the saturation down. So something much more subtle. Excellent, I shall pop this into a digital frame and that will come up at the end of this video. Okay, not so much detail as before, but let's show you these. I'm just going to do a very quick sky replacement just to show you how quick and easy this is, and we've got something a lot different here, very much about straight lines, and we have blue sky this time. So edit, sky replacement, wait for it to work, and look, that's not bad at all. Let's take a look at those edges. That's quite an amazing job. So let's see if we can put a moodier sky in. And these are some of my skies here. Yeah, let's take a look at that one. I think we'll leave that as it is. Just check the lighting. So a light coming from this way. Let's just flip that. Yeah, I think I prefer that way round. We'll give that an OK. Finally, let's go for something that's going to be something you really want to look at, and that is how it works with trees and leaves. So we've got a lot of tree and leaf detail here. Straight up into sky replacement. Let's see what comes in. This is early morning, so we do want to get that early morning feel. Again, look at that, the work it's done around the trees and the branches is just quite amazing. Let's put something in more respectable for this time of the day. Again, just making sure we've got that light coming from the right hand side there. Now that's not bad at all. Let's try something clear. That's far too bright, but don't forget we can always dial that down. I think just for this, we'll go with this one here. Now we've got this sky replacement tool working so well in Photoshop. If you don't do it already, do go out and shoot skies when you're out and about. You know, every time you go out, if you see decent skies, don't just think about what you're shooting, but shoot the clouds and the skies as well. And I think for doing no work, that is quite an impressive replacement. And there's no halos around these twigs, is there? So I hope you enjoyed that. I will finish off the Spitfire shot, and I'll pop that in as an image at the end of this video. Please remember to subscribe and hit that like button. Many thanks.